Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Experiment number 11, protection of induction motor by using numeric relay cell 710. This is apparatus for this experiment. Laptop is available in the lab, so no need to bring laptop for this experiment. A software will be used to do the setting of this numeric relay. That software is already installed in that laptop. Students will follow the step-by-step instruction given in a detailed manual to execute the tasks that are given at the end of the manual. This is setup for experiment number 11, protection of induction motor by using numeric relay cell 710. So here is numeric relay cell 710. Cell stand for Schweitzer Electric Lab. That is the number 710 for this particular relay used for motor protection. The single relay perform number of different type of protection to induction motor. For this particular experiment, circuit is already connected. Students are not going to do any circuit connection. So here I will just show you how to start the motor, and then students will follow the instructions given in the manual to do the setting of the relay and verify different protection operations. So first of all, that is the three-phase supply. Turn on the three-phase supply. Circuit is already connected. So here we have variable three-phase voltage source. So make sure this is turned on, then increase the voltage to the maximum 100%. Once it is 100%, make sure that this belt is loose so that this rotor can rotate. Next, by pressing the start button, you will start the motor. Here I will start this circuit breaker motor by pressing the start button over there. So now you can see motor is rotating, and here this relay is observing the current that is drawn by the motor. So when this relay will trip, use this target reset button to reset the relay. So we can see here, in case of numeric relay, more complex targeting is possible because we have more than one characteristics available in this relay. So according to the trip, there are different types of indication shown over there. So first of all, press this enter. You will see main meter. So we are going to do metering of the current. Press this meter. We want to measure fundamental parameters that like current in all the three phases. So press this fundamental. So here you can see current in phase A is 1.1 ampere. Phase B is 1.1 with angle minus 119, almost 120, and phase C again 1.1 ampere and angle is 119 positive. So that is phase sequence ABC. Now with the help of this arrangement, we will introduce different types of faults in motor. For example, load loss fault, overload condition, block rotor condition. I will show you step by step how we can insert different types of fault on this motor. First fault that I will demonstrate is overload condition. Overload condition is a steady condition on motor. So here, by tightening this belt around the flywheel of this motor, we can increase the loading of motor. So here I will show you. We have the mechanism available to insert or increase the load over the shaft of this motor. So if I rotate these in clockwise direction, you can see the sound of this motor is changing, and here is the change in current. Current has increased to 1.7 ampere from 1.1. If I keep on increasing the load across this motor, you can observe over there current is increasing, and there was already a protection set in this motor to provide protection against overload condition. That's why relay has tripped and operated the circuit breaker. In this way, there are few other types of fault that we are going to monitor. Here I will show you how to insert those fault one by one. Release the load from the motor, reset the relay, then turn on the motor. Motor is back in operation. Again the current this time is 0.6 because I have removed complete load from the motor. That's why current has become 0.6 ampere. Next is we want to perform lock rotor condition, lock rotor protection. Lock rotor means motor failed to start. For that purpose, stop the motor, tighten the belt across the flywheel of this motor to increase the load so that motor should not start. So remember, this type of fault will be inserted after we have already set lock rotor protection in our motor relay. You can see sufficiently large torque has been applied across this motor. Now I am going to start this motor, and motor will not be able to start because of this lock rotor condition. And immediately relay has detected this condition and tripped. This is how lock rotor will be inserted on the motor. So this is second condition. Next I will put the motor jam fault. Motor jam fault will be motor was in operation and suddenly its rotor will become jammed. So that is motor jam fault. Here I will release the load from the motor first so that its shaft can rotate freely. Now you can see the rotor is rotating freely. I am going to restart the motor. Motor has taken heavy starting current, that is known as the inrush current of the motor or starting current of the motor. Now I want to jam the rotor of this motor. This jamming fault is not possible by tightening the screw at the top of this setup. To do that, I will have to pull this belt so that load should increase across the rotor and rotor must get jammed. So in order to do that, put your thumb over here, hold the belt and increase the load. So now it has been jammed. As soon as motor gets jammed, the jam protection of this relay would react and immediately trip the motor. So that is jam protection. Now there is another type of fault, that is short circuit fault. Although we cannot replicate short circuit fault over here, but this fault will be set at a value that is much higher than the rated value. For example, at 4 ampere, we want to see the operation of this relay when it is taking 4 ampere current. How to increase that 4 ampere current? If we are going to increase that current steadily with the help of those screws, we will not be able to reach 4 ampere. Motor will operate much before that because 4 ampere is even higher than its load current, which is 2 ampere. So we want to increase the current to 4 amperes so that we can see the reaction of motor for 4 ampere current. To do that, here I will hold this belt and increase the current. You can see here load can be increased by just pulling this belt gently away from the shock of this motor. Be very careful when you are applying load or you are applying fault on this motor, because any loose clothing or any loose bearing may get stuck in this motor belt. So be careful when you are doing this experiment. This laptop is attached to the relay through this networking cable. You are going to do all these settings with the help of this software Accelerator. So detail to operate this software and how to do the setting, this complete detail is given in the manual. Here I will show you how the current will increase by just slightly increasing the load. You can see current has increased to very large value, 4.8 ampere, as I have pulled this belt away from the flywheel of this motor. So these are the instructions required how we can put the overload condition. Only the overload fault will be inserted with the help of these screws. By tightening the belt, we will put the overload. All other type of load faults in which current is to be increased from the rated value, either we are going to tighten the screw so that motor could not start, that is a lock rotor condition, or we are going to pull this belt away from this rotor to insert that fault. So again I am saying that keep your loose clothing away from the belt when you are going to operate this belt to insert the fault. Once students has gone through all the instructions given to operate this numeric relay and to do the setting with the help of that software of the relay, then next comes the lab task. Students will do the lab task in the same lab session in which they are going to study the operation of this relay and learn to set the relay for different relay characteristics. So task number 1 is show the motor starting report in graphical form under the connected load of 2 ampere. From the graph, determine the motor starting current and motor starting time. Detail has been mentioned how to extract this information from the software. but here I will show you how to fulfill this requirement. Procedure has already been described, how we are going to run the motor and how to insert different type of fault. In order to study the motor starting characteristic, procedure will be first we run the motor, and by tightening that belt around the flywheel of that motor, we make sure that current is 2 ampere. Once current will reach at 2 ampere, by opening the circuit breaker, press the stop button of circuit breaker to open the circuit breaker, so motor will stop. Then wait for 2 minutes. Don't do any action on that motor for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, close the circuit breaker by pressing the start button of the circuit breaker. So once motor will start, it will draw high current, that is known as starting current of the motor. That current will stay there for a short duration. That duration is known as starting time of the motor. Once motor will be in the running condition, again wait for up to 5 minutes and then extract the motor starting report from that software. Because this setup or this software will take some time to log the data, so all the events in that time would become part of that motor starting profile. So that's why I am giving you this instruction. So once you have started the motor, don't do any action on the motor for 2 minutes. Once you have started it again, do not extract motor starting report until the 5 minutes has passed. Just a precaution to make sure that the starting event shown in that graph is exactly the same that you have just done. So note down the value of motor starting current and motor starting time here. Then in order to implement definite time over current characteristics, this is the characteristics bit word 51P, the type of relay. Its trip bit will be 50P1T, so that will be used in the trip logic. After doing the task 2, then you will implement the inverse time characteristic for the relay. Remember, when you are going to do the task number 3, don't delete this task number 2. So relay will have the characteristic of task number 2 along with task number 3, because this relay can perform multiple tasks. So when it is a definite time over current relay, at the same time it can become inverse definite time over current relay as well. So both the characteristics will be present at the same time. Then for task number 4, do not delete previous 2 tasks, add this 4th one. So here you can see at each step it will be mentioned add this task, add the load jam. Add the load means previous task must be there, we will add this additional task into the relay. Then task 5, in the presence of previous 3 you will add this 4th one. So in this way you complete the 5 tasks. Here I will introduce you about the motor starting characteristics. When motor is started, let's say at this time this is the motor starting time. As soon as we close the circuit switch to start the motor, motor will draw very high current at this starting time. And this current is known as motor lock rotor current. I lock rotor means when we start the motor rotor will be stationary. Due to that, back EMF in the stator winding will be 0. Due to this reason, motor will draw very high current, that is known as motor lock rotor current or motor starting current. Then this current would reduce with the passage of time and then suddenly drop to the normal value. So this is the rated current of the motor if we have applied the rated load across the shaft of the motor. So here the current has become steady state. So this time duration is known as motor starting time, time for which motor current was high. So this current, lock rotor current, can be as high as even 10 times of the rated current. So if motor will fail to start, this lock rotor current is sufficient to damage the motor winding. So that's why we want to provide protection against this lock rotor condition. So if motor will successfully accelerate, this current will drop to the normal rated current. But if motor rotor will fail to accelerate due to any problem, then this lock rotor current will result in damaging of the motor. So this condition, lock rotor condition of motor, is protected with the help of IDMT over current relay. There are 2 settings required for this IDMT over current relay. First setting is its pickup value. I set for this will be equal to 1.25 times rated current of the motor, rated maximum current. This will be the I set. Whatever is the motor rated maximum, that will be multiplied by 1.25. This is known as safety margin. 25% above this rated current will be the safety margin. This is I set. I said that lock rotor would be much higher than the I rated. So this I set is definitely less than I lock rotor condition. So we will have to delay the operation of this IDMT relay, so that when we are starting the motor, this IDMT overcurrent relay should not respond to that motor starting current in that condition. So should not trip the motor due to its heavy inrush current. So here we will have to introduce the delay. So delay of this motor should be equal to the motor start time. If it was a DMT relay, we can set time is equal to motor start time and a safety margin. That will be sufficient. But we know that in case of IDMT relay, time setting is done either in the form of TMS or TD. According to IEC standard, that will be TMS. According to IEEE standard, that will be time dial. So we will have to select the TMS and TD in such a way that it will produce this much delay. But question is, for which amount of current this much delay should be there. So that current is this I lock rotor condition. So we will find out the value of TMS that we will set, for which if current is equal to I lock rotor current, pickup is this, the delay should be equal to motor start time. I am expecting from the student they will work out this value of TMS for this motor for standard inverse characteristics. Now at the end of this experiment, I will ask few viva questions from the students, because they have implemented these different types of relay characteristics for the protection of this motor. I will ask question in this way: what is the purpose of this definite overcurrent relay? Against which fault this relay type is used in motors? Against which fault we are using this time delay overcurrent relay? And what is the difference between load jam or lock rotor condition? So how this load jam is different from the lock rotor condition? Then I would ask the question about here, the task number 5. What is the load loss protection? Why this protection is required? In which condition this problem can occur in motor? Give an example. So go through these questions before coming into the lab. So student will have to go through the basics of motor and motor protection before coming into the lab for this experiment. Thank you very much.